Welcome back to the Uncinched Podcast, where we dive into the unfiltered and sometimes dark and spooky corners of the horse world. We're so happy that you're here, and thank you so much for joining us. And if you're new, my name is Taya, and I'm here with Britton, and we are your co-hosts here on the Uncinched Podcast.
Today's episode is a little different, and we're handing the mic over to you. Again. Today we're doing a little segment we like to call Uncinched Confessions. In this segment, we ask you, our listeners, a kind of open-ended question related to the horse world, and then after anonymously submitting your stories and your answers, we talk about it on here on the show.
We personally love this segment as it's such a great way to learn about different perspectives all around the horse world. And because this segment is purposefully anonymous, a lot of you really don't hold back.
We love it.
And sometimes the strong and unpopular opinions come out, and we think that's really freaking awesome.
Yeah, in the Uncinched Confessions segment, so far we have talked about pet peeves, we've talked about unpopular opinions, and experiences that changed your perception in the horse world. Y'all got spicy, and we loved it. It was amazing. So today's confession topic is tell us the piece of advice that sent you down the wrong path. I know, we made it spicy. We made the question a little spicy. So to start, we want to express our sincere appreciation for everyone who sent in submissions. It takes a lot of nerve, especially in this day and age, to let your voice be heard. So we just really are super grateful for all of you who felt comfortable enough to share your stories with us today. Because you know what? It's hard.
We also want to say that some of these opinions of yours we may or may not agree with. Mm-hmm. And one of the cool things about the horse world and what we talk about lots here on the Uncinched Podcast is just how multifaceted we are as an industry and a community. And with diversity comes sometimes polarizing opinions. So please take our opinions and the ones that we read today with a grain of salt. Allow yourself to lick and chew on them all. And know that although you may not totally agree with our opinions or the submitters' opinions today, there's a lot of learning in all of this, and especially in today's topic, which is advice that took you down the wrong path. Perhaps today's episode will help prevent you from making a mistake in the future.
And just because it was something that was advice to them that didn't work, it could be just with their specific horse or their specific situation. So make sure you're listening and evaluating as you go. It's not a black and white situation. So we're going to just read these one by one. Normally we categorize them, but we said, YOLO, let's do it. So,
Yoo-hoo, make some blowout.
If you can tell, we're a little tired, and it's kind of made our brains a little crazy.
Yeah.
So we haven't categorized or organized them today, as most of of these are stories as well. It'll probably get a little chaotic, but, you know, when have we not been chaotic? We thrive on chaos on this podcast.
All right. Submission number 1. On pieces of advice that sent you down the wrong path. This person says, honestly, this is going to be an unpopular opinion.
We love it already.
But emotion-centered horsemanship. Specifically, the kind that convinces people that a horse should never feel anxious, and that if your horse is showing signs of anxiety, tension, or whatever, that you're doing something wrong or even abusing your horse. I'm not saying that we should ignore our horse's stress signals, far from it, but I think the pendulum has swung way too far in the other direction, to the point where people are really limiting themselves and their horses for fear of stressing them out and doing something wrong. Some degree of anxiety is normal when learning new skills and having new experiences, so I think nuance is lost in a lot of emotionally aware horsemanship circles. Temporary anxiety is a normal horse experience and a normal, even expected part of expanding comfort zones. Oh, shit. This is an interesting one starting off from the get-go. It's a really cool perspective, honestly.
I agree with this because I as I was reading it at first, I was like, emotion-centered, what do you mean by that? Because I don't hear that word often for how they... But I knew what they were kind of implying after. I think it's true, though. I think that there is a level of anxiety for anybody, not just horses, when you're starting something new or you don't know something, so you get a little nervous or you're not sure of things. And I think that should be always taken into consideration, that you have to kind of get through those learning bumps. And if you don't, you won't get through it at all. And so I do agree with that. And I like how they're not saying ignoring your stress signals. It's just saying like, hey, make sure that you're understanding that there is a level of anxiety that you're going to have when you do new things.
Yeah. No, I think this is a really good perspective and a good reminder. I think a lot of us who get drawn to the emotion-centered horsemanship or natural horsemanship or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I think the intentions are correct, but there is definitely an extreme on the other end of the spectrum. And at what point do we say this is too much stress for a horse to go through? And every horse will express stress in different ways. And it's like, it sometimes gets to a point where, like, if you don't believe in stressing out horses, like, handling them is stressful in some aspect.
Especially if they're just learning. Like, if they're brand new, like, they've never done anything.
Yeah.
Haltering is going to feel stressful because it's different.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before, too, but I always think about, okay, let's say I want to be kumbaya, peace, calm, and zen with my horse, and I'm emotionally centered, and I shelter and hide my horse from stressful situations because of this philosophy. But let's say something happens to me, and I get run over by a car, I drink some poison tea or something.
So who's tried a poison Taylor? She's immediately thinking of poison tea.
Yeah, someone probably. But point is, what if something happens to you?
Yeah.
And now you have this horse whose world has been kept really, really, really small.
Like sheltered.
And then as soon as that horse goes into a more stress-inducing or a more stimulating environment, because they haven't been exposed to that early on, because you've sheltered them, that horse is being very poorly set up for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I think it's thinking of it as building blocks. You know, you have to set up a foundation where they're able to tolerate new experiences.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's similar with kids. Like if you, I'm not trying to be controversial, but I might sound controversial. If you're like a tiger mom, that you will not let them experience anything in life, they grow up to be struggling. They struggle as adults. They don't have the social skills. They don't have the resilience to understand job dynamics. And it's the same thing that happens with a horse. Like the moment they grow up, quote unquote, you've set that pattern already that they just don't even know how to tolerate it. And if you're doing that, wouldn't that cause even more stress and more anxiety? If that makes more sense.
It's kind of counterproductive when
exactly.
you really look
That's
at it.
kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And also, like, you aren't going to prevent stress.
Never.
Stress is everywhere. You could be
Stress
at
is normal.
your arena and Hiroshima bomb goes. I'm so tired.
Okay, so if Hiroshima goes off,
but like shit happens.
Yes.
Shit happens. Someone spooks while you're riding in the arena. Kindest thing that you can do to your horse, and if you want to be emotionally centered in your horsemanship, is you need to teach your horse regulation skills.
Exactly.
If you cut corners and hide your horse and shelter them from all the scary things, pretty soon they're gonna be like, oh, why are we running away from that? And they feed off of it, you know?
Yeah. They don't learn how to regulate themselves.
Yeah.
And that sets them up poorly.
Yeah.
All right, our next one. All right, I don't know why I'm going to do this voice, but I'm going to do this voice anyway. You have to show him who's boss to get his respect. Or literally anything of the sort resembling dominance theory. That's just not how it works. Well, first off, it's a little short, so it doesn't really tell us a lot about dominance theory or what your interpretation is. However, for my interpretation of dominance theory, I agree, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You know, it's same. I go back to humans, you know, because that's easy for us to understand. When you have a boss who's treating you like shit and is just angry at you because you can't figure it out and you just don't know what they're asking, because oftentimes that's when a horse misbehaves, when, especially in training. You know, it's not because they're necessarily trying to. It's oftentimes because the question you're asking, they don't understand what the answer is. And if you're just getting angry, think about it if your boss does that to you and you think you did the right thing and they're just like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, why aren't you doing it? And they body check you. Like, you know, you're going to be upset and you don't understand what you've done wrong. Or they just start yelling at you. Let's not even say like the physical, like it's just yelling at you and getting angry at you. And you'll shut down. And it's the same with a horse. The horse basically shuts off and goes, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to be complacent. And it's not learning. It's just trying to get away from the pressure, literally.
I think fear gets misinterpreted with respect a lot of the times. And I think that's where this maybe little wildfire has stayed afloat this long in the game. You know what I mean? Like, I still hear people like, you
just gotta wrangle him.
You gotta ride it out or ride the rough out and show him who's boss and whatever. And like, there's some moments where like, yeah, you gotta have to set boundaries, but being intentional about it is key. And then also, what is being a boss? Do you want to be a boss or do you want to be a leader? And if your horse is having a moment where they're like so emotionally unregulated that they're wanting to toss you off or they're wanting to bolt off, they're wanting to do all these things, the worst thing that you can do is add more pressure to that because you're giving that horse an exact reason to dump your ass off. So I think for this one, I would say look at the difference between fear and respect.
Yes.
Just because something fears you does not mean it respects you and doesn't mean that they're willingly giving you what you want. And I would really check in and think about, how do I want my horse to respond? Like,
do I want them to be afraid of me?
Yeah.
Is that the actual partnership I want, where someone cowers in my presence or shuts down and stops being themselves?
Yeah.
It's kind of that kind of question to yourself.
And yeah, this is a good one. And you still hear it lots.
All the time.
All the time.
I have like guys telling me that all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, I was at Stampede one year and my horse just had a moment. He had a blip of relapsing anxiety. I don't know what happened. He just stepped funny and he just kind of shocked himself.
He's a horse.
He was fine. And then this guy, never met him in my life. Never met him.
Out of the woodworks.
Literally comes stomping over to me. He's like, you need to shank him and like pull him down. And I was like, what? He just spasmed. Like,
just said
and he's
skirts.
like, he doesn't respect you. Back him up. You gotta get him circling. And I was like, I'm okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I don't know who you are.
Yeah. I know, that kills me. Like, the worst thing that you can do in a moment where your horse is like,
is that fear?
Visibly scared, is to be like,
fuck you.
Yeah. You better listen to me. And they're like literally having an anxiety attack. Like, you don't want to like stand there and be stagnant or like not do anything.
Yeah, move their feet if you have to. Or
but
it depends on what they're doing.
Yeah. Disciplining them and abusing horses does not get you respect.
Yeah.
It might get you what you want, but it's going to be out of fear. Okay, next one. Ooh, this is a good one.
Ooh, okay. I like this one.
This person says, if you fall off, get right back on. I internalized this big time and took it very literally. So literally, when I was thrown badly from a mare I was training, in brackets they put cracked helmet, vertigo, severe concussion,
that sucks,
and lost consciousness for a moment.
Oh.
The first thing I thought I had to do when I came to was get back on. I actually went to the mounting block and made them lead her back over to me. Then I stood there and was like, I don't think I can do this. Phew, sanity took over. It wasn't until I went to the ER the next morning and was put in a neck brace on a backboard that it sunk in that how bad that fall actually was. Didn't ride for several months. And now have come to realize that get right back on doesn't need to be taken quite so literally. It doesn't need to mean right now, but when you're able. That's such a good one.
It's so good because it's something I grew up on. I remember my grandfather telling me that. Just get back on the horse. You have to get back on. And I can tell you actually a story from my own. We had a lovely mare, a lovely sorrel mare, if that gives you context. And she was a good little mare, but one day a switch flipped. I still to this day don't quite know exactly what happened. Our vet thinks that maybe there was a tumor or something that kind of caused some maladies. But anyways, she decided to flip over.
Ooh.
Yeah, when I went to get on. So I was halfway on. So I had a foot in the stirrup, and then the other foot was almost on. So I was literally in that weird part. I couldn't get back off.
That's the worst place to be.
And she decided to rear up and flipped.
Dang.
Flipped on herself. I was very lucky because I also ride in a roping saddle. So you guys know the pommels and the horns on those are massive.
Yeah, that hits
and
you
if it hits you in the chest, you can die.
Yeah.
She rolled, so it didn't hit me there. I'm very lucky. I was very bruised, very battered. But my grandfather said, "You get back on her right now." And I was like, And she's like,
I'm scared.
Literally, I was like, I don't, what was I? It was like 15. It was 14 or 15.
Grandpa! Like, get a grip, Grandpa!
And he was just like, "You're fine." I was like, "I don't think I am." But anyways, he's like, "Yeah, you gotta get back on." She learned that this was a bad thing, and she's gonna do it again. Mm-hmm. And she did. She did. I can confirm.
Sorry for laughing.
No, it's true. And I was terrified of this. And then I couldn't even move the next day. And he's like, "We're going for a ride. You're getting on that horse." And I was like, I got back on it. I don't know why I did. Like, to this day now, I think about it, I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. That was not a good choice. Yeah. One, I was not fit to get on that horse at all. My back was, if I have a photo, it's on my Facebook, but like, if I could show you guys, my back was literally blue and black. Like, it was bad. And then on top of it, she probably had something going on. Like, for her to literally flip herself, it's not normal.
Yeah.
And so when she did it 3 times, the third time, I was like, "I'm never riding this horse again." But he was like, "You gotta get back on." And he kept saying it. And he's like, "If she's not gonna behave, you're gonna show her who's boss." To the next one. And it didn't work out so well. So I where I'm going with this story is that, you know, I was internalizing that too, because I was told, and I think it's part of that older generation too, that you have to keep going. And I think where it comes from is when you cowboyed and you were a rancher, or whenever you were using horses, you didn't have an option. There was no car. Mm-hmm. You had to get back on, no matter what happened. And I think that's where it came from. And the mentality shifted. Instead of being like, "Oh, it's a need, it's a necessity to just keep going," it went to "You're not strong enough if you don't keep going." If that makes sense.
Yeah, can confirm as well. I have a similar story, except I didn't have anyone telling me. It was my own doing. I had a colt a couple years ago. I was riding it in a round pen outside, and like there was horses around, and it spooked it, and it just like turfed me, and like I was okay and got Luckily. Back up, but I did not give myself the time to like let the adrenaline get out of my body and like realize that I was okay. So I was like, just right up, you know, like you just got bucked off, your body goes into shock whether or not like your brain is comprehending that. Like, I think sometimes we get into that, like, I have to get this job done, I'm like hired to do this. That's at least where I went to. So I'm like, I'm not letting this bugger get away with that.
Yeah.
And I got back on that horse, rode it around for like 2 minutes, and then like for no reason it piled me off again, and I was like, all right. And like in that moment, I did not take the time to like regulate my breath, regulate my heart rate, let myself come down from the adrenaline rush. And so I was arguably worse off getting back on after that happened. And like the horse wasn't like at the first little toss off, like it was justified. Like one of the first rides. Yeah. Something happened out in the field. It just like did colt things, and it zigged, I zagged. And then the next time, it bucking me off was actually my fault, because I got back on. I was tense. My heart rate was up. I wasn't thinking very clearly. And so that horse was like, well, this is scary. And now there's a scarier thing on my back. So, yeah.
Well, I think that's actually a good point to make. You know, if you're getting back on and you're not regulated, like you're in pain, you're not feeling good, you're stressed, you're raising the chance of something bad happening again. Because that horse, you either make a mistake because you're nervous, or that horse is like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Something's wrong.
They can hear and feel your heart rate.
Exactly.
So they're automatically going to be on edge. And yeah, if you didn't get hurt the first time,
you will
probably would the second time. And that's the other thing too, is I think a lot of times we forget like the purpose of adrenaline. Like when something bad happens, your body goes into like shock and to get yourself to a place of safety. So yeah, you like in those moments you're like, yeah, I feel okay. I don't know how many people have been like, yeah, I'm fine. And then the next day, or later that day, they go to the hospital and they're like, yeah, I broke a disc in my back, or like, yeah, I cracked a rib, or
that's how I broke my foot.
Yeah. So I think this one is a really good one to talk about, honestly, because like
I drove home on the broken foot.
Dude,
I drove home because I was like, I'm fine. And then Evan's like, it doesn't look fine.
Like, shut up, Evan.
Literally, I was like, I'm fine. and then yeah, I really broke it like bad.
Yeah.
All right, next. A strong horse needs a strong bit. It's dangerous otherwise. Okay. I was young and had my first horse. He needed retraining, not a stronger bit. But I came to this conclusion a couple years ago. I feel like everybody can understand where I come from that one, when I disagree with that advice wholeheartedly.
Yeah. That's where I think like this whole segment is so important in general. I have heard this so many times.
Oh, too. Yeah.
And as a beginner, when
you don't
know. And like in some contexts, you can see the logic and see how it makes sense. And in certain scenarios, does it work? Yeah. Is it ethically right? No. But when you are new and a beginner and you don't know those things, you don't know right from wrong. And that's where so many, like, going to the tack store and like looking at the bit wall, sometimes I'm like, why do we need a bicycle chain? Why?
Well, also, I think it's just a very almost naive take to be like, oh, strong horse equals strong bit.
Yeah.
You know, it could be so many things that are causing this.
Yeah.
And also, just because a horse is strong doesn't mean they're going to use that strength in a negative way, if that makes sense. Like, you're making the assumption in this kind of statement, obviously not this person, but I'm saying as a statement, strong horse needs a strong bit. You're making the assumption that they are going to misbehave immediately. So you're already going in with a preconceived idea that this horse is dangerous, this horse is bad, and so then you're more likely to also be harsher just in general with them.
Yeah.
So I think the way our psychology works, and we're going to get philosophical right now, is very much where what we say to ourselves, what our talk track is what we execute on. And it's no different when we talk about our horses. Mm-hmm. If we're saying, oh my God, my horse is so nervous all the time. It's so nervous. You naturally escalate that heart rate. You naturally are going to be very cautious around them and make movements that may seem scary. If you are going in saying, it's a strong horse, it's dangerous, you're going to put yourself in dangerous situations, or you're going to escalate situations that they are dangerous, because they may make a move and then you go and get really big, and then it's a bigger reaction.
If you're listening to this and someone has told you that and you have listened to it, I mean, it's happened to me. I have.
Oh, yeah. I think bits is a whole nother conversation that we should have in general.
We need a bit specialist.
Truly, because it's not
if you're
me.
A bit specialist. Oh, there's so much.
Not me. I would highly like to... There is a bit specialist who's listening, or if you're a listener and you know somebody who's actually fantastic,
tell us.
One, we would love to have them on. Two, I would love to actually personally like have a conversation, because I think bits are something I'm more weak in. Because there's just so much information that I can't substantiate, but I don't know what's right and what's wrong, and so I'm just kind of winging it.
Yeah, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of misinformation.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I'm just winging it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the tough part about this too. And like, what is a strong bit?
Yeah, and why do you call it a strong bit?
It opens up the conversation too of like, okay, you could ride your horse in a 3-piece snaffle, which is considered one of the mildest bits. And you could be on your horse's face all the time. Or you could put your horse in a shank. And only touch it a little bit. So there's also that conversation that comes out of this too, and it gets so snowbally and convoluted so fast. And like you said, that general language. What is a strong bit? What makes it strong? Is it the use? Is it how you're using it? Is it the actual bit itself? So lots of questions. We don't got the answers today.
No. Sorry guys.
Okay, next one. Keep applying pressure until you get the result you want. You're the boss. Oh, this is sounding familiar. This person also says, the advice has always struck me as wrong. Now I have a 2-year-old who is proving it. She will walk through fire and flood and flapping plastic bags if I ask her, but only if I let her contemplate the situation first. No pressure, tricks, or bribery will get her across. In fact, that route makes it take a lot longer. Rush her and she gets more stubborn than a mule, which is something considering she clocks in at 16.1 hands.
And she's 2?
Dang.
Jesus.
It's a dinosaur. Just patience and thinking. When she's good and satisfied with her contemplations, she waltzes through whatever you're asking her without issue or concern. Yeah, this is a cool one, and I'm glad that you put in the story about it too, about your horse. I think a lot of people will have like a method and how they do stuff, and some horses do need a little bit of pushing to get them to do things, but not all horses work that way. And I like to think of it as kind of like love languages to get like motivation out of a horse. Like some people's motivation is like words of affirmation, some people's gifts, some people's other things, and the horses I feel like are a lot of the same way. So it's really important to like actually take a moment, get to know your horse and observe how they react to pressure and stuff, and put them in those situations as much as possible to see what your horse's quote unquote love language is when it comes to when they're uncertain. Because some horses do need a little bit of a push to kind of say, hey buddy, you can do this, I got you. And other horses do just need a moment to like suss out the situation and look over it. And I think what separates a person who has a program that they ride really well to versus an actual horse person is, are you putting all of the horses that you work with under the same program, doing the same protocol, treating them the same way? Or are you actually observing your horse's behavior and how they respond to different forms of pressure or requests, and then adjusting your requests and asks based on the findings that you have from there? And yeah, I think this is another really, really good one.
You know what? I want to reply to 2 things. The first thing, I actually disagreed with it at first when they said, keep applying pressure until you get the results you want. And I was like, that is not bad advice. But then when I heard the story and kind of what you were talking about, then it made more sense. And that's why context matters, because I would have been like, no, you do need to apply pressure till you get the result, because otherwise you're not giving the ask properly. But I think it's the way you're phrasing it and the way you actually do pressure and how I maybe interpret that.
Yeah, because everyone's got a different interpretation of what
exactly.
pressure means. Yeah.
Next thing is, I love that on the love languages. I've not thought of it that way, and I think that's really important because as you were saying it, I'm like, yeah, some horses really need a lot of affection and touch,
and some don't like it.
And I'm like, Rumor, when I think of him, he likes some touch. He loves to be really near you. He wants to be close all the time, but he doesn't necessarily want to be touched by you. And he wants to tell you when he's touched. He's like, he has to initiate it. Son of a bitch, he's me. God, God, I just thought of that. I'm like, that's me.
Dang it.
Yeah, I'm like, don't touch me unless I want. Yeah, so I think that's really smart. Like, when you get your horse, try and do the small observations of like, hey, do they love when I tell them they're good? Do they love when I touch them? Do they love when I bring them treats? Like, what gets their goat in a good way?
And like scary things too. Like some horses, when they see it for the first time, like you gotta like get all up in their face and just have them like, oh, it's okay, it's fine. And then other horses, they're a little bit more reactive. They need to get within 5 feet of it and get within a couple feet of it and build their confidence over time too. I don't feel like when it comes to obstacles or putting your horse through stressful situations, I think it all needs to be approached differently based on
their personality
and what they respond with.
Well, even like think of Rumor, like he doesn't handle well when you just give him a ton of pressure.
No.
Like he's not that,
no.
But he is so soft. Like he is soft. But you have to give him time. And you've worked with him. You know, like, you have to. And if you don't, he's a menace.
Like, this whole
scenario
tidbit really reminds me of him because,
totally. I was thinking the same.
It's like you have a real direct conversation with him and he's like, you're attacking me. But if you, like, come at it and, like, not a passive-aggressive way, but, like...
Yeah, you're like, hey, no, it's okay. Like, let's reroute this and let's think about it again. And then he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, then it's amazing the different response that you get. The confidence starts to build from there.
Yeah, if you force it, he's not.
No.
He blows up. He blows up.
Yep, and a lot of horses do, and a lot of horses also just, what is the word, flooding, where they just like shut down. They just go through it too.
And then 5 years later, all of a sudden you have all those problems.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, what happened?
Yeah, I see it a lot.
Yep.
All right, our next one is make them listen or they never will. I was taught that a horse should never think he has the option or saying no to anything. I was so much harsher than I needed to be in the first horse I trained. I bullied her into doing things when I could have been much more gentle. There is certainly an extreme on the other side when people are so meek and gentle that they have dangerous horses, but there is a middle ground to be found. Perfectly said.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. Honestly, too, this is something that is a trial and error thing.
Yep. Knowing how much is too much. And
like, if you're listening and you have, like, I know I have, there's been many moments where I'm like, it's like, hits you deep in the pit of despair.
It hits you in the pit of despair.
You have a moment with a horse and you get a little bit bigger than what you wanted, and then afterwards you leave with that icky feeling.
Yeah.
And as crappy as that is, that icky feeling is...
It's a teaching moment.
It's a teaching moment, and it's a great guide on, okay, that was too much.
Yep.
And that is where learning is. And as crappy as it is sometimes to, like, have those feelings... For the most part, horses are pretty benevolent and forgiving as long as you are...
Yeah. Also, just think of, like, the lead mares or, like, the lead in their herd dynamic. They're nasty. They will tear them apart.
Yeah.
And just think about that. I'm not saying you have the right to. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they still are friends. They still hang out, for the most part, usually. So... You know, you might have gotten too big and you might regret it, but...
That's relationships in general.
Exactly. You know what, Taya? We love each other. We're, like, great friends. There is definitely times where I'm like, goddamn!
Yeah!
And you, same way.
Yeah.
And then we just have a conversation and we go, oh, shit, we maybe reacted wrongly to this. Oh, I took this wrong. It happens. It happens in relationships. It happens in... friendships, it happens in podcast relationships,
marriages, and with your horse too.
Yeah, there's miscommunications. You react not the way you wanted. It was an off day for them or you. Like there's just it's so normal, and it's okay to have those days. And I also love how this listener took ownership.
Yeah.
I bullied her, saying, like, this is where I went wrong. It wasn't just saying, like, oh, I took this advice and, oh, it was terrible. It was like, you know what? I did this wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I think we all should take accountability when we've done something wrong or something right. take accountability for both.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that one. Next one. Hours in the saddle are everything. I feel like I hear this less now than I did 20 years ago as a kid in the sport, but still have occasionally heard it out at the barn. Sometimes it's people saying to ride a horse until they are totally exhausted to get more hours on them, and sometimes it's people saying you will get more out of riding daily instead of doing groundwork. In either case, I believed it for a long time before realizing how much that mindset was holding me back. I noticed at first how much the shorter rides seemed to have my horse learning things more than the really long rides. Slowly, I would shorten training rides to be more short and sweet where I could keep my horse's attention and he wasn't tired mentally or physically, so much more willing to try. I kept some exercise rides that were longer, but when I wanted to clean something up or teach him something new, I would do 30 minutes max of training. Usually there was a 15-minute warm-up and a cool-down, but it wasn't an hour plus of riding plus warm-up and cool-downs like it had been before. And oftentimes it was closer to a 10 to 15 minutes of active riding. Groundwork started after I started driving my horse. Is when I saw how much ground driving helped with the problems I'd had under saddle, as well as seeing sometimes that the issue had to be with my riding because he was responding like I would expect on the ground with no issues. Swapping 1 to 2 of my riding days a week improved my time in the saddle and also helped me better learn my horse's particular quirks and body language much better than I ever did in the saddle. That's an interesting one. I agree in some aspects, but also I disagree in some aspects. Definitely in like when you're wanting to teach really specific things, you're in a like maybe a bit of a funk with your horse and you get a really good breakthrough. Like there is a lot of value in like finishing your session right when your horse like gets what you want them to understand, if that makes sense. But also miles are so good for horses. Miles are really good for horses. And I mean, depends on the kind of miles you're doing. Absolutely. I mean, we've said this before lots, like cross training, and that's like
Training
rides, doing different things.
Different
and then
exercises.
Groundwork too
Yeah.
is always beneficial. Yeah.
You know, I'm really mulling over this. Like, I'm really having to mull over this kind of thing. I feel like a horse that's, like, licking and chewing. It hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah.
There's certain points I agree to and other points that I don't. I think similar to Taya. One, I immediately made a sour face when it came to ride a horse until they are totally exhausted to get more hours on them. I think that's ridiculous. I've heard, I didn't directly see it, but I had a client tell me about a trainer that worked their horse to the point that they laid down. They couldn't get back up. And the trainer was yelling at the horse to get back up. And it was so tired. And it was in the middle of winter. And then he put it out cold. And I was just appalled by that. Like, that's just absolutely wrong.
How does that add value to anything?
No, it doesn't. And she's like, I don't know what to do. And now he just
lays down, shuts down.
Yeah, completely. And I don't think you should ever be putting yourself or a horse in that situation. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's what it made me think of. And I'm like, you should never, ever, ever be... if you're purposely trying to exhaust them, you're doing something wrong. If they get tired from the activity, it's normal.
Yeah.
But not to the point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
You need to know when the stop is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't teach them anything when you're doing that.
Yeah.
If anything, it's teaching them something bad.
Well, yeah, if they associate you with
Hardship.
pain, exhaustion, like, they're not going to be motivated to do jack shit for you.
Exactly. I'm like, if anything, it's bad behaviors it
Yeah.
teaches. And I think more hours incorrectly done is not good.
Yeah.
So I think miles is important because it teaches your horse to react to things. Mm-hmm. And it's really important for them to kind of just get confidence built through that. And I think absolutely. And also, if you want them to know a specific thing, it's like us. We have to do the lesson a few times and repetitively. It can't be just like, okay, I'm going to teach you multiplication one time this year, and then next year I expect you to know it by heart.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you it again, and if you don't know it, I'm disappointed. Like, you have to have a level of consistency.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, if you only do the multiplication, you're only doing this, it's difficult as well. So I think there's value in both sides.
Yeah. And with the hours in the saddle thing, like, I think a lot of people will get kind of caught up and they're like, I do this for 10 minutes, I do this for 10 minutes, I do this for 10 minutes.
Yep.
And in some aspects, it's nice to have a plan, don't get me wrong. But I think riding your horse all day, even if it's just like walking on a trail all day, moving a group of cows all day, the work ethic that it builds in them
strong.
And the also the like energetic regulation. I find horses who are very jumpy, busy, spooky are horses who have not been rode long enough because they don't understand that they need to preserve their energy.
Yeah.
So I think it's a balance. And with everything, you need to have a little bit of a balance.
And I do think you're right with the rigidity of like 10 minutes this, 10 minutes that. Like, you should be warming up your horses to make sure that they can move smoothly, especially if you have a senior horse. I say this to clients all the time, and I'll say it to you. If you have a senior horse, they have issues. Whether you notice them, different question. It's like us. Like, as we age, we naturally have aches and pains. We naturally are a bit more Tin Man, where you need a little bit more oiling. And same with them. So you need to do warm-ups, and those are really important. And I think you should have like, okay, I'm not going to do anything before this 10 or 15 minutes or until I feel like they are moving better.
Yeah.
But after that, go with the flow.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. It's kind of my philosophy. Like, until they get the activity, they get it, move on.
Yeah.
If you want to keep riding, keep riding. If you don't.
Yeah, totally.
All right. That if you experience fear, that you should not be riding, as true riders are not afraid and can ride any and every horse, showing them who's boss. I was literally bullied by my trainers as a teenager because I was a cautious rider. Did mess me up a lot, I think is what they meant to say. First off, I'm sorry that you felt bullied. It irks me. It irks me when I hear stuff like that, where it's like, I felt so awful about myself because somebody told me I suck, is basically what happens. Like, it irks me how normalized it is to bully children. Yeah. Bully children in horse riding.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's ridiculous. And I don't know. I teach a lot of people, and a lot of people have fear, myself included.
Yep.
But what I have learned is that you can't avoid fear, but it's important to come to terms with it.
Yes.
Like, why am I scared? Most of the time, you're scared for a justified reason. You don't want to get hurt. That is a valid-ass reason. It is okay.
And usually it's from an experience. You've gained the fear.
And if you are a fearful rider and you are getting coached by someone, it's so important that you communicate that to them and that they progress you with like little bite-sized chunks that make you feel like what you're doing is accomplishable without over-facing you too much. What happens in those moments too is like your body and your brain is trying to protect you.
Yes.
And so when you get put in that posture and automatically go, oh, something's a little bit wonky.
Yeah.
You're trying to take care of yourself. And I don't know how many people are like learning to canter, for example. Like, a lot of people will start riding with an instructor who like progresses them along too fast, they fall off, and now they're nervous to canter.
Yes.
And then the canter becomes an issue because they were overfaced and then they had a bad thing happen to them. So as soon as they feel the motion, they black out or they check out or they stiffen up, and it like becomes a thing. And it's so freaking tough. But it's if you're listening to this and you have a thing like that, whether it's cantering, getting on, whatever it is, it's okay and it's normal, and that doesn't make you unable to progress and do well in riding, and that's what keeps you safe. It's important to have a supportive environment and a safe environment that can help you work through those things.
Yeah.
Honestly, exposure therapy in a controlled microdoses.
Yeah, and like you don't need to lope around the whole arena.
No.
Do the short side, and then you're good.
Yeah, microdose,
yes.
bite-sized chunks. So it's like, okay, like maybe I won't canter 20 circles today, but maybe I'll canter the short side in the arena. That feels a lot more attainable to me. And then you just build from there.
And you build your own confidence.
Yeah.
Because you see, oh, nothing happened here. Okay, I can go a little longer. Oh, nothing happened here. And then you just move along. And it's just like when you train a horse. You just have to get through there, and then they're like, oh, okay. And once you feel like you're confident in that,
Then
you can move now.
On. Yeah. Same thing. Same. But this is a really good one, and I think a lot of people need to hear that, like, fear is normal.
Yes.
And fear is what keeps you safe, and it's okay. As long as you're not avoidant.
Yes, avoidance is different than fear. You know, if you're using fear as an excuse to stop living, that's different.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really hurt yourself and you don't ever want to ride again, that's fair. Like
That's
I'm
your choice to
I'm
make.
not going to say anything about that.
Yeah.
However, if you're going to keep riding, you have to move past it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do it fast.
No.
You don't have to do it immediately.
No.
And you don't have to do it in a way that, like, if you're scared to canter and you're happy at a walk and a trot and you trail ride and that's all you do and that's all you ever want to do, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure you keep going, you know?
Yeah. Stick with it. Totally. And trainers, don't bully people.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible. Okay, next one. It's an instructor one. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm nervous.
My instructor made me give up my heart horse because she said I needed bigger and better. 40 years, it brings tears to me still. I totally let him down. As we left the dealer lot, he cried out to me. I was young. My parents were not involved. Worst advice ever. I will never listen to anyone again.
Okay.
That's
Last
a
part,
little dramatic.
I don't know if I would say I'd never listen to anyone again. You know, people are there for you. But, like, oh,
That's
heart-wrenching.
Heart-wrenching.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's, you know what? I can see this. Like, where somebody, if you were, I'm going to make an assumption here. I don't know, but I'm assuming you're an English rider and you're a jumper. Because I've heard that a lot where it's like, my horse could only do a certain jump size. And I had the skill to go higher. And so then they wanted me to, and so I moved on and I bought a new horse. So I'm making an assumption. I could totally be off base, but that's kind of where my mind leads to it. And you know what? Like a trainer or the instructor, honestly, if I were to guess, meant well. They meant the best for you. They wanted you to succeed. They wanted you to grow. And it put pressure on you in a way that maybe was unintentional.
But
I don't know.
That was your decision at the end of the day, though.
Exactly, it is. But if she's young, you're impressionable too.
Yeah.
But like, that is heart
That's
wrenching.
crappy. It's really, really crappy.
Especially when you say that he called out to you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would have cried.
Yeah.
But you know what's best for you, and I think the only thing I would say out of this is when you felt that shitty about it, you should have trusted your gut on it. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying, I think for any of our listeners, if you really feel like this is wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Regardless of what other people say. If
Yeah.
you feel it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah. I've had a couple people, like, similar but not similar. Couple people asked to buy my horse Pete or recommend that I sell him a couple years back when he was like
At
good
his peak.
age at his peak, allegedly.
I think he's still pretty good.
Yeah, he's still doing pretty good. And like that was something that I did consider for a little while, and unfortunately, and I mean we kind of talked about this on the last episode with finances. As crappy as it is sometimes, those
It's
heart
reality.
horses, you put so much time and energy and love and effort into them, and they become pretty top dollar nice horses. You know, you sell a horse for 50 grand, that's potentially life-changing for some people too.
Yep.
I mean, I obviously did not decide to go to the route of selling my horse because I loved him so much. But this is one that, like, I don't know, I don't want to say I disagree with this person. If it's something that will change the trajectory of your life, in those moments, if that feels like that sacrifice is going to
Be worth it,
then sometimes that's what you have to do. That's the horse industry. And I mean, it sounds like this person has regretted it. And I mean, that happens too. And it's so, so crappy. But I think for the listeners, just something else to kind of mull on is if you see someone selling a horse who's quote unquote their heart horse, this could be life-changing for them. And as sad as it is that they're losing something, they might be getting compensated in a way that
is different.
Changes their life, changes their business, does something for them. And I think that's an important thing to kind of point out and talk about too, because,
I think that's a good point to make. You know, you choose in the moment what's the best for you in that moment, and you may love it later on in life, you may not. And it's okay either way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a good point. Okay, I want to move on from sad. Hopefully this one's not sad. I don't know. Okay. One bit of advice that sent me down the wrong path at times was blindly trusting that my trainers knew what they were talking about regarding horse care. Should have done the due diligence research. Live and learn. You know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is anything, though. It doesn't matter about trainers or body workers or, like, outside of a horse industry. You know, you have a teacher that tells you something and you're like, oh, okay. And then you look up later and you're like, what the hell?
that was
not right. Mm-hmm. And I think it's hard to do due diligence, though, if you don't know.
Yeah. And one thing, too, that I have seen quite a few... I'm going to point out the trainers, myself included. A lot of people don't like to seem like they don't have answers. So instead of being honest and saying, I actually don't know the answer about that, they give you a kind of bullshit answer. And because they're a trainer, because they're a person in a position of power in that context, it comes across as they know what they're talking about, and people just take the advice.
Yeah.
And that is one of my pet peeves out there. If you don't know what you're talking about, shut up.
Shut up.
And
just shut up.
And don't be afraid to admit that, and then say, I don't know the answer to that, but I might know someone who does.
Or say, hey, I'm not sure right at this moment. Let me look into it. Mm-hmm. Like, those are... I did that to a client the other day. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the heck was going on with that horse. Like, truly and honestly, it didn't make sense. It was popping in and out. I don't know. And so I said to them, I said, you know, let me look into this a bit more. Let me talk to a few people. And maybe you should talk to your vet, because I've never seen anything like this. I have no idea.
Yeah. And there's, like, nothing wrong with that. Because if you say something...
Oh, it's
this. It's wind puffs. It's their...
And it's in the hip.
Yeah. Like, if there's a potential issue, like, someone or that horse could get hurt at the end of the day, too.
Yes. And you also miss the problem for longer if it comes to something like that, because now you're extending the time where somebody doesn't look into it.
Yeah. And as trainers, you are oftentimes people's, like, first point of contact resource. That doesn't mean that you're a vet. That does not mean you're a body worker. That does not mean you're a farrier worker.
Or a fairy.
Or a fairy. But you need to have a baseline of knowledge and then know, okay, if I'm seeing lameness or I'm seeing
X, Y, and Z,
to know, okay, this isn't my expertise. I have a baseline of knowledge. This is the person who I would say to go to, rather than being like, oh,
it's fine.
Put chocolate milk in it, like.
Yeah, put chocolate milk in the oats.
Yeah.
And it'll make it crispy.
Yeah, crispy.
And then the crust will go away.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
But
that's not advice.
It's so crappy because, like, someone way back in our first Confessions, the pet peeve, someone was saying they were a trainer, allegedly, and they said that their pet peeve was everyone was asking them all the questions, and they're like, I'm not a farrier, I'm not a vet, I'm not a blah, blah, blah. But for a lot of people, you are the resource.
Yeah.
And you are the opinion that
they trust
the most. So don't take that lightly. And when you do not know the answer to something, have a team of people around you who you can go out and reach out to help your people out. Yeah. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me from this.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And just as a professional, if you are a professional in any industry, if you don't know the answer to something, that doesn't mean you don't know things, and it doesn't mean you're not knowledgeable, and it also doesn't mean you're not smart. Because I think sometimes we think that, where it's like, if we don't know the answer, we're not smart.
Yeah, they're not going to continue. Yeah.
You're fine. And I think it's more valuable to be, like, honest than it is to try and please. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, as a recovering people pleaser myself, allegedly.
I'm from the people pleaser committee.
Allegedly recovering.
Allegedly.
I don't know if that's correct.
She may have relapsed.
May? Definitely have. But, you know, I do get this idea of, like, I want to tell them the answer. I want to know the answer.
Of course you do.
But it does more harm than good.
Yeah, you look like more of a jackass than they're in our Uncinched Confessions saying they didn't want to listen to you. Or they blindly listen to you, and now you're the jerk.
Yeah, and as a professional, for anyone, you have a responsibility of being educated and giving proper information.
And being honest.
Yes, that's the role you're playing. That is the role you're playing. And if you don't want to have that role, get off the bus.
Get off the bus, Becky.
That's not something you're open to doing, that you're actively making sure you're educated on the topics you're talking about. You shouldn't be in the role of educator. And as a farrier, as a trainer, as a body worker, you are in the role of an educator at every turn. Every turn. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to be around people and you don't want to educate people, go into research. Get
a different job.
Well, you can do research in those fields. Like, you can go and do peer review.
Yeah, that's true,
stuff.
Actually.
Like, you can.
I always forget about that.
Yeah. Come on now. Don't even know.
I know.
God.
I didn't know.
Okay. Oh. That went by fast.
It did go by fast, but it's been an hour.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
Well, as per usual, you guys came through and we yapped a lot. And we have too many confessions to put into a singular episode. So you will unfortunately have to stay tuned for the next episode to drop to hear the Uncinched Confessions, Advice That Sent You Down the Wrong Path, Part 2.
Yeah, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss when the episode actually drops, and when any future ones do as well, because we are up to some cool things because we're cool girls. Also, do not forget to follow us on social media. We're pretty active on there, it's mainly on Instagram and TikTok, but you can find us at Uncinched Pod. We do have a Facebook, but currently we're locked out, so we'll figure that one out.
Me and
for
Meta
you guys.
are still in beefs.
We're beefing.
It's not good. I don't know what's happening with it, to be honest. It's fine. Okay. Bye!